So this is an actual screen-used Ford from the first movie, which kind of makes it a legend in its own right, because as far as I know, none of the cars from the first movie are in private hands. Most of them were destroyed, and Universal's holding on to every DeLorean that came out of that first movie. So to my knowledge, this is probably one of the only cars from the first movie that I'll lay my hands on.
My dad tells me stories all the time about when he would work on his cars back in the 70s when he was younger and take them apart. So it's his passion, but I've really learned it as my own now. Me and my father, we collect cars together. We're kind of, I guess, sort of like car hunters, if you would. I'm Dan Felice. We're in Williams Bay, Wisconsin, and we're in me and my dad's garage here, where we have a collection, a large number of things here. My dad started collecting back in '90, and we wanted to collect because it's part of the past. It's just more preserve history, kind of just make sure it continues on. I used to prefer Europeans like Porsches, and like any kids around driving age, I just like anything that would go fast. But as I learned and I understood more, it was I like more the curves and the shapiness of the older classic cars with the big fenders and everything. Actually, for a while, it just so happened to be that there was really no American metal in here. It was all European cars for a long time, and then suddenly we just, we got, I don't know, I don't remember what it was, a Corvette, or maybe, actually no, I think it might have been BIFF'S car. Went to Volo one day, and it was just I think it was a pretty rainy Sunday, and we were walking around, and this was in 08, 09, so this was when markets were down across the board. We're walking around just doing the tour of the facility, and we see it there, and my dad instantly was like, I have to have this car. And of course, me also being a Back to the Future fan, I was like, yeah, if it's definitely the screen-used one, I think we need to go for this. He asked me about it, and I said, I think it would be a good investment, and so I was happy to have helped. It kind of gets like center stage here, and when the cars are pulled out, you can actually see straight in, and it's the first one you'll see. It doesn't get driven as much as I think we would like it to get driven, but it does get out, obviously only during the good months and the good weather, with not being a top.
Damn it! Hopefully a couple minutes and it stops. There's something with convertible Back to the Future cars and the f***ing weather.
Oh, son.
Bipolar f***ing weather. This is the 4th Back to the Future car I've ever driven, and for some reason, this one really, really excites me. And I think the reason why is because it's actually a real car, whereas the DeLorean and the BMW were kind of more props. But this is an actual Ford. This is a really cool 1940s Ford.
The car sounds angry. It's loud when you start it, it's loud when you drive it. It's, it's kind of a get out of my way, I'm coming car. It's got a bad personality.
This is a 1946 Super Deluxe Coupe, which they cut the roof off. Universal did that because I don't know why. They couldn't find a convertible, and so they needed one, and this was maybe cheaper, and they cut the roof off. As with most movie cars, you would expect it to be a pile of junk. But this is actually a great car. Compared to some of the other cars I've driven, for example, the DeLorean, this thing is in great shape. It drives smoothly, it hits 60 miles an hour without a problem, and it's quite nice to see that this thing is actually in private hands, that it's in someone's hands that can take care of it, show it some love, instead of rotting in the back lot of a studio, Universal Studios to be specific.
My dad's name is Rick Felice. I think when he saw it at Volo, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was an attraction, and I think he was surprised that it was for sale. He thought that would be a really awesome thing to own, because I mean, I remember him telling me, I think he was the one that first showed me the movie when I was growing up. When he saw it, you know, it was something that immediately brought him back to, I guess, his younger days, you could say. You don't really get a chance to purchase a memory very often like that. I don't even know if excited would be the term. I think more it was like a disbelief sort of feeling. Like, wait, we now own something from a famous movie. Like, a famous movie, and it's like a famous movie that like almost everybody is like in love with. And the manure scene is like a famous scene in the movie, so it's like to have that car. People ask me, they're like, oh, was it in the movie? I'm like, yeah, and they're like, I don't remember it. And I'm like, well, do you remember the manure scene? That's the car that went in the manure.
When Rick bought this car, they were actually lucky enough to find the car was literally, it was under every crack, under every carpet, in between the seats. That poop that landed in this car was still there when he bought it. So he said if you look under the seat, you can still find some. Yeah. This is actually burlap that was used as the poop in Back to the Future 1. And I'm keeping this.
Biff's car, I would say, is really more about the movie than the actual car. The car itself is very important, but the car itself is also almost like an ambassador of the movie. It brings the movie to the masses. Like, you can watch it as much as you want to watch it, but if you can actually reach out and touch something that was in the movie, it's a whole nother experience. And especially if you want to sit in it and take a picture, which a lot of people have done. You see people's excitement and happiness on their face, and it's not something you really could equate to anything else in terms of that kind of movie. People see it, and they tell, I can't tell you how many stories I've heard from people that tell me about how they've seen that movie like 15, 20, 100 times, and how much they love it. It's just become its own like living, breathing thing. I think when they made the movie, I don't think they ever thought it would be like it is today. It will never be again what it is. It was the right people, the right time, the right place, the right cars. Everything about it was just perfect and pristine. If they ever did remake it, which let's hope they never do, but if they did, it's never going to be the same. It would never be the same. It would be like you're trying to replace something you can never replace. It's definitely a treasure for sure. Biff's car is certainly a treasure, and a treasure I never thought I would own. I hope to one day being able to have a place like this and a bunch of cool cars of my own. I would say these cars are definitely like traveling back in time.
And if you like what we're doing, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, because when you subscribe, you'll get more updates on what we're doing. And if you share it, it shows up on your Facebook, and more people watch the videos. More people watch the videos, the more I do this, and the more you get to watch. So be sure to share it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. So thanks for watching. This is the most valuable poop I've ever touched. This is incredibly valuable poop. I love this shit.